All right, welcome to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton. Thank you for joining us today. Coming on a pod to talk with us. First is SYP creator Scott. Scott, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm excited. We got a lot of followers yesterday. I'm excited to show them what we got and who we are.
And it should be a good show. And then also joining us from Fredricton, New Brunswick, our boy Jeremy Smith. Jeremy, how are you doing right now?
I'm a little cold over here. It's like minus 15, so.
Ugh. That sounds like hell.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's okay. We're glad that you can make this. I know that you've been wanting to come on for a while now, and we finally got the opportunity for you to come on.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. It's gonna be fun.
All right. First off, before we get into anything, so Scott, talk about yesterday, and what do we get? 80 followers, I think. Yesterday, we've turned into GameStop, where people have just bought our stock continuously yesterday. Explain that situation.
So yesterday morning, fans, I woke up and I checked the brand, and we had 375 followers exactly, which was a good goal we set for February, and we got it. And then when I went to sleep last night, I checked it again. We're at 447. So what happened? So shout out to my Human Kinetics 312 class. We were doing lab techniques. Thank God our prof had some technical difficulties, and she blacked out for 5 minutes. So our group chat starts talking. Okay, what the heck's going on? Where's everyone? And I think it was either Kevin or one of the guys was like, "Scott, you should please teach the class." I'm like, "Well, okay, I don't know a whole lot because." So, anyways, I just started randomly talking, and then Gabe's plug the pod. So I at SYP onto the group chat, and sure enough, 2 minutes later, I get 50 notifications asking for to follow Speak Your Piece. And the people contributed. So shout out to my HK family and all the guys there. And yeah,
shout out to those people. Yeah, because I was recording my podcast yesterday, and then after I finished a section, I checked my phone. It's like, holy shit, what the fuck happened? I missed a call from you, got new followers. So that was cool. Thank you to everybody for following. Hopefully you enjoy the content. Hopefully you enjoy the pod. Next up is to get big in New Brunswick with the UNB crew. And hopefully Jeremy will help us out there. No pressure, by the way.
Oh, no problem. I'll throw a repost on there.
Perfect. Thank you. Tell everybody to follow us.
Put you on the map for the East Coast.
Yeah, there you go. Jeremy, you're the guest here. What do you want to start with? Do you want to start with hockey or do you want to start with football?
We can start with football. I'm down to rematch the Cowboys and talk about how shitty of a season they had.
Okay. So how much of it is actually their defense was not that great? They were playing, it seemed like a really poor system scheme for most of the season.
Yeah, the first couple of games was rough. Even when Dak was there, I don't think the defense decided to show up for a game.
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. Because you guys played Seattle, and it was a shootout back and forth.
Yeah. And
part of that too was just Seattle's defense was just awful at that point of the season. And turns out you guys didn't change, and our defense at least evolved a little bit. Was Dak a big loss as well? Just not having him.
Oh, for sure. I think that the team definitely revolves around Dak. You can see that this season. Their team didn't change beside Dak. They had a lot of offensive line injuries, but Dak's the main guy there, and they just need to sign him.
So if you're the Cowboys, because this has kind of been one of my, arguments, but obviously we've seen with the Rams that the Jared Goff signing didn't work, or the Carson Wentz signing didn't work. I'm kind of wondering if the Cowboys are just going to be the team that moves on from Dak after the, rookie deal, because obviously in the NFL, the rookie deal is your most beneficial deal. You get the most value out of a player, and then just goes and get another quarterback on a rookie deal. What would you say to that if that happened?
I wouldn't like it. I think Elliott definitely suffered after watching Dak get hurt. I think if you want Elliott to produce, I think Dak needs to be there because that duo is just really good. But I don't want them to sign anyone else. I think that Dak's your guy. He's your franchise player. I really hope they don't do anything. He has one more year for sure there. I don't see him going anywhere this year, or in a trade or anything. But I really hope that they keep him.
I think if you're Dallas, you have to keep that kind of core intact as best you can. And
for sure.
Like Zeke relies on Dak, but also the way around, because the pass game. If there's a pass game, the run game's opened up, and if the run game's really good, then it's kind of that two-way weapon. And for a few years there, they were really good combined together. And Zeke, correct me if I'm wrong, was like the leading rusher a couple years, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Like it's you got to have both guys and build that core, get a couple of receivers, maybe a good tight end in there, and then your offense is set.
Well, I was going to say the receivers aren't even that bad. Like I like Amari Cooper. I like CeeDee Lamb.
Core is definitely, like, on paper, it's one of the best in the league. It's just that they can't produce. They haven't, even when Dak was there last season, like the production was just not there. I think they definitely need some work.
Well, and the offensive line too. Like when the Cowboys were making the playoffs regularly, their offensive line was really good, and now it's kind of just deteriorated, or they've had to rebuild some pieces. Whatever. So the NFC East isn't really that good. It wasn't really that good this season. Is it playoffs or bust for you as a Cowboys fan next year?
Well, I mean, personally, I hope they make it either way, no matter what the division is. I think you have the Washington team that's gonna look good again as well, and hopefully Barkley's gonna be back in as well. So you'll see that. New York might improve a little bit. I think the Eagles need to go more into a rebuild, but those will be your top three teams in my opinion. Like, I don't think it'll be as bad as it was this year. This year was it was hard to watch any of those games.
Well, in the last game of the regular season where the Giants played the Cowboys and Dalton just forced a floater into double coverage to end the season was just okay, that's about how this thing would go. I want to get your thoughts quickly on the Stafford-Goff trade and who you thought came out on top in that one.
I don't know. It was a hard trade. I think that they gave up a lot for Stafford. I like the trade, but I think 2 first-round picks is definitely pushing it in that trade. Again, I think Stafford's definitely going to do a lot better with the Rams, especially with McVay there. Really good coach, but I like that trade.
I just don't know if Goff's better than Stafford, or sorry, if Stafford's better than Goff. Because to me, that trade was very like you looked at their stats; they're pretty similar, and maybe it's because of the system. Maybe, who knows? But I mean, if Stafford can go and put up like 40 touchdowns, like less than 15 interceptions, and like 4,000 plus yards, like maybe I'm not, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't know if Goff's like just like. I don't get that trade. I didn't understand it.
I thought I was going to say was like, I've said this before, but if you talk to any Lions fan or you go to any Lions message board or Lions social, whatever, it's a unanimous, this guy is Stafford's a Hall of Famer if he played on a better team. And that's Lions fans who are saying that, who are like, this guy, like if you watch him, he makes some of the craziest throws and has some of the best arm talents in the league. He's just played for a shitty organization for his entire career. And, now maybe we'll get an opportunity to go win a championship. So it's a lot, but like, I think Stafford still got 5 good years in him. And maybe that's a freezing cold take, but Stafford, I see, could be the next starting quarterback for the Rams for 3 to 5 years and put up quality numbers too. So I'm kind of like, I think both teams benefit in each sort of way.
Rams did give up a lot though.
They did, but it's kind of like, he is still a quality quarterback. I can't remember who I was talking to, but somebody compared him to like, is he better than Phillip Rivers? And it's just like, yeah, he's better than Phillip Rivers. He just hasn't had the opportunity to fail in the postseason that Phillip Rivers has his entire career. So sticking with football, I don't know if you guys heard, there's a big game this weekend.
There is, yeah.
That's going
to be a great game.
Should be a great game. Jeremy, predictions. Who do you have coming out on top, and why do you think that team's going to win?
I got the Bucs. Like, you can't bet against Brady. I don't think you can bet against Brady. It's like just as good as Mahomes is. I think Brady's got the experience. I think they're going to be up going into the fourth. I think Mahomes is going to try to push it because he's way better pushing the pace, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think the Bucs are just going to stay on top.
I get why. I get why. Scott, what's your Super Bowl pick this year?
These are official picks right now. Like, is this for real?
This is your official pick right now. You're making this right now.
I was gonna make this later this week. Okay. Well,
early, at least give us your direction. What direction you're heading in?
Okay. Jeremy's right. It's so hard to pick against Brady, but I have to. It's gonna be high scoring, no doubt about it. And I'm pretty sure Mahomes is going to be down in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. Chiefs win 42-38.
Whoa.
That's my pick.
Really?
Jesus.
It's going to be close. The whole game it's going to be a back and forth shootout.
Scotty is hitting the over like super hard. Like he is taking the over big time.
Big offensive game from both guys.
Big offensive game. You know, I said that the last time Brady was in the Super Bowl against the Rams, and look what happened there. I'm kind of going with Brady too. I'm kind of leaning towards Tampa Bay to win. And I mean, obviously Mahomes and the Chiefs are on like another level. Like they are like 2 or 3 tiers ahead of everybody else in terms of how well they're performing and how well they're playing. I gotta go with Tom. It's Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and I feel like I feel like a complete dumbass if I didn't take Brady to win in a Super Bowl and he won. Like I'm okay. I'm okay with taking Brady and having Mahomes win. But then I'd feel really stupid if I took Mahomes and then Brady won. That's kind of where I'm going with that. So if I had to give an official score, I'm going to say Bucs 30, Chiefs 28.
Wow, that's close too. So question for you guys. If Brady wins, do you think he retires?
No. I think he's still playing. I think he's 43 now. Like I still think he's got a couple more years. I don't think Tampa Bay is his last team. There's part of me who thinks that he's going to continue playing after Tampa Bay because I think he has one more year left on his Bucs deal. Okay. And if he wins a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, he has no need to go back. Like he literally accomplished everything he needed to do in Tampa Bay if he wins a Super Bowl this year.
Well, that's my point because if he wins, he's the undisputed GOAT.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he is in general, even if he doesn't. He's that good.
But I don't think he retires. I think if Brady wins, he's still playing.
I agree. I see at least 3 or 4 more years.
Yeah.
Cool.
Another fun thing. This is more along Scott's, area. This is in Scott's neck of the woods. So the halftime show this weekend is The Weeknd.
Oh my fucking god.
Jeremy, I don't know if you can partake in this as much as we can. What is your ultimate The Weeknd halftime show? How would you build like your top 5 songs, if you can, of The Weeknd, and how would you do the halftime performance? I won't go to you right away, Jeremy. We'll start with Scott first because Scott will have his top 5. I think that he'll
set. I got it.
Yeah, I think he's got his 5 set. So Scott, what's your ultimate The Weeknd halftime performance?
So based on what I've read, it's a 24-minute set, which is very long for a halftime show. So. I gotta think about it. Let me quickly write it down and see if it makes sense. So my first one, gotta start with Heartless from the After Hours album.
Okay.
Heartless is definitely number 1. Blinding Lights is gonna be last. No doubt about it.
Blinding Lights is gonna be okay.
100%. And then you toss The Hills. The Hills has got to be in there. Because that one in a stadium would be nuts. Wow. Probably Starboy will be there too. People won't like it, but it'll be there. I'm gonna put Party Monster on the side. I don't think it's gonna make it, but it should be there too. Save Your Tears. I would throw in there too.
So in order.
Yes. Hold on. Let me figure the order out first. Save Your Tears, and then probably All I Know, Future. That's also a really good song. Okay, so if you can read that, That's what it says there.
Harlan, let's see. Okay, so you got 6 songs. That's your ultimate The Weeknd halftime show.
I would say so. Yeah.
All right.
I would say like that's my prediction for what he's gonna do. So
You don't see him bringing anyone out, like any futures, special guests?
I don't know. Maybe Future.
If Future gets to the Super Bowl before, like more recently than Russell Wilson does, I'm gonna have an issue with that. I'm gonna be upset.
Like Jared, if Future's on, I think Low Life gets put in there too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would kill to see a Kendrick surprise. Like
with Pray For Me. Yeah, it's hard to say what he's gonna do, but either way, it'll be good.
I think my 5, I would go with The Hills.
Yeah. Okay.
You do Blinding Lights.
Of course.
For sure.
You do Starboy.
Yeah.
You do Earned It.
Ooh, okay.
And then at my top 5, you would do Heartless at the end. Did I say that?
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I would do my order. Jeremy, do you have a top 5 or an order of the Weeknd that you would go with?
I think Blinding Lights is definitely gonna be in there. I think that's gonna be the opening.
Ooh, okay.
I gotta go with it. I got Hills is probably gonna be last. I see that as being like a nice closure because I feel like it's more popular than newer stuff. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
I think Starboy is gonna be at number 2.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be Can't Feel My Face because that was a popular radio song.
True.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
True. I feel like that could go in there as like number 3, and then I got to go with Kendrick coming out.
Oh.
Really long shot. He's been super silent, but you never know. Bold take.
Yeah.
You're gonna sprinkle a little money on that, like bet on that being a halftime song.
No, I think I'd rather bet Scotty on the Bucks winning than.
Fair enough. So Jeremy and I have the Bucks. Scott's taking the Chiefs. And we all for the most part came up with similar playlists for the Weeknd to do for the halftime show. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Let's move on to hockey. So let's talk about the NHL right now. Jeremy's sweet Canucks had a brutal loss last night to the Montreal Canadiens. We had our boy Jevin on from the Left Side Heavy podcast last week to talk about the Canucks. Jeremy, your thoughts on the Canucks so far this season?
I don't even know where to start. Like they come out, they play good in one game, and then I think it's a turnaround. It's kind of like watching the Cowboys. They come out, they play really well, and then the next game or the next week, it's like, this is not the same team as I just watched. Like, I think Tyler Mott's having an amazing year, and you see that contract is now paying off for the Canucks. But
Tyler Boss, according to SYP player Keith. Tyler Boss.
Yeah, I think the back end has played really well. I think their top guys like Petey hasn't started producing. Besser produced well against Ottawa, but I mean, you're also playing Ottawa and their top line is a pair of rookies and Tkachuk, right? So it's hard not to produce against that team. And then you see them go against a team like Montreal again last night, and it's like, well, silence, right?
I think it's correct.
Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering about the Canucks. If it's like they are somewhere in the middle between like crushing Ottawa and getting crushed by Montreal. Like they're somewhere there. You just have to figure it out. Maybe because we're still kind of early on. We're still trying to figure that out. But that's how there's somewhere like around the Edmonton, maybe Calgary, Toronto, somewhere
last week, and I think a lot of it is their defensive issues. They're turning the puck over way too much.
Oh yeah, Myers. He loves sitting in the box. Like, to be fair, a lot of his calls are very weak, but again, yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah, it's a Tyler Myers. How many penalties in a game can I get challenge?
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's been doing all season. Like, I was watching one of the games, and Burke was saying how the refs have been super, super strict this season.
I think that was the Saturday game.
Yeah, I did agree with that. But again, Myers he's got to get out of the box. He's gonna have a massage chair and a beanbag chair in there, and he's got to find a way to get pucks in the net and not in the box.
Yeah.
So
don't give the refs a reason to call something. Make plays, but don't if you can take the whistle out of their hands. Jerry, you and I know that. You'd rather let the guys play, but you're making us make these calls. So
Yeah, especially if you're going up to ref Vancouver, you're already going to know that, well, Myers is their top. You're just going to be watching him all game, right? Because of his stick is so active, but in the wrong places.
Yeah. Same with his size, too. He often hits guys really hot.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was going to say the Saturday game was really fascinating because I think Myers took a stupid penalty, or the Canucks had some penalty trouble, if I remember. And then in the third period, Myers does like the fucking skate around the whole zone with a puck like I do in Shell. And he like showed off his speed and the size. It's just like, where has that been this entire time? Like, you fucker, like you've been taking penalties all the time. And then the one time you show off some offensive skill, and it's just like, we need more of that, not the penalties. He
was a first round pick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's top 10 too.
Former Kelowna Rocket, Tyler Myers.
There you go.
I figured we should touch on this a bit as the Tony DeAngelo incident with the S at the end of the incident. Apparently, he got punched out by Gorgiev because.
You know why?
So the rumor is, there's a bunch of rumors going around. The rumor is that so the Rangers lost to the Penguins in OT the other night, I think it was.
Yep. And
apparently, DeAngelo said something like he tried to crack a joke with Gorgiev about guess that one's on me, or guess you got to be a little better. So he said something stupid, and Gorgiev's just like, fuck you, and then took a swing at him. And that was essentially the end of Tony DeAngelo with the Rangers.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts on kind of Tony DeAngelo and what's all transpired there in the last 6 months.
Well, I think there's a lot more that happens, especially with him, that we're not being told about, because there's no way that that's the only thing, because fights happen in practice all the time, right? It's common. Like you see people, all-stars will go up and fight each other, but then they go and talk about it, right? And it's all good and it brings a team closer. But I definitely think that there's more going on with DeAngelo than what we know, right? Especially with the Rangers coming out and saying that, oh, he's a great guy and that was not the reason why we let him go, right? Because they're just trying to get him some team to pick him up off waivers. They don't have to pay him anymore.
Yeah.
So exactly. I definitely think there's a little bit more going on.
There's got to be, and I think it's stretching back a few years now at this point. And I know he's had a behavior problem, and like he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a solid top 4 defenseman on an average to lower tier team, and he's really an effective player, good offensive, good 2-way defenseman. But like you guys said, yeah, it's just some issues with the Rangers and with his teammates that just, at a certain point, it builds up, and it's just way too much. And I think, obviously DeAngelo's gotten there now, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, someone picks him up.
And I'm not like, I don't want to say there's a bit of a cloud with DeAngelo when it comes to like the Trump stuff and all of that, all that sort of issue. And I'm not even talking about that. Like, this is just purely either on the ice, because he struggled quite a bit to start this season, or just like behind, off the ice, behind the scenes. Because if you're like, DeAngelo has struggled. He was put on the taxi squad, if I'm correct, like a few weeks ago. And when you're the one who's making that jokes, it's kind of like, okay, but you're kind of the problem. Yeah. Like, I get what you're trying to do, but it's like, you're kind of the reason why this team is slow out of the gate already. You really shouldn't be saying anything too stupid, but just something I thought we should touch on. And do any of you think he's going to be playing for an NHL team again?
I think so.
You think somebody will get him an opportunity?
He's He's too good of a player to pass up, I think. In my opinion, I think he's a really solid player. Like, he struggled this year, but in the right situation, he'll be okay. He needs a hard coach, someone that's going to really, like, push him and, like, make him better. Say Tortorella in Columbus.
I was just about to say a Columbus pickup. I could see. Whether it's happening or not, I don't know if he'll get picked up, honestly, just because of, how stuff in the locker room like translates to on ice gameplay. When you have a pair of guys in the room that they're arguing and fighting back and forth constantly, and it's not just a one thing and done.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, that translates to the ice, right? And your whole team suffers.
it causes issues like throughout the organization, really.
Oh yeah. Your coach has to focus on that battle instead of winning one on the ice, right? So
because I don't know. I think fans are pretty fed up with DeAngelo and some of the shit that he brings. But of course, NHL front offices are completely different from fans because it's just old white dudes pretty much in the front office who's just kind of like, yeah, I'll just, sign this guy. What's the worst that can happen? And the GMs don't really care about the backlash, but I don't know. I mean, some NHL team's probably going to sign him just because he's a right shot defenseman who put up 50 points one year and has a manageable salary. And they figure that's enough to put up with all the bullshit that comes with DeAngelo. And so, yeah, Tony DeAngelo, we touched on him. Jeremy, I wanted to go back to you. What have been your thoughts on this hockey season, the North Division? Anybody or anything really stand out to you so far?
I love the North Division. It's great hockey. No matter what team you watch, like that division it's hands down the best, right? It has, they were talking about it last night. 3 people in the league have scored hat tricks and they're all in the North Division, right? I love watching.
I was going to say McDavid and Draisaitl the other night just went fucking off.
It was crazy. And I hated it because I don't have either of them in either of my hockey pools. So I just lose. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, the North has been great. I don't know about the rest of the East is obviously dealing with COVID right now. The Central's dealing with COVID right now. The West is okay. Scott's Ducks are okay.
No. Well, they actually are okay.
They're okay. They're not great. They're okay.
Yeah.
And again, like McDavid, Draisaitl, like Connor McDavid is obviously the best player in this league, right?
Yeah.
Best offensive player in the league, hands down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, the North Division has been great. And Jeremy, the Canucks are still going to make the playoffs, you think? Do you think they're going to get back?
I don't know. I think Holtby needs to start playing a little bit better. That's what I think. For being an ex-Vezina Trophy player, like watching him last night, yes, he made incredible saves. But I think it's just he's just not fully there yet, and I think that comes as he's with a new team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Young team. He's an older guy. He has to carry a little bit more of a captain role, more of a leadership role. So I think he's just getting used to that, and I really hope he starts producing because I think right now, if Markstrom was currently still there, I think that they'd be doing a little bit better.
I was gonna say I like Demko. Like I don't know why you weren't starting. I know you signed Holtby and I know you paid a bunch of money to Holtby, but I think most people, from what I've gathered in that fan base, get the impression that Demko's going to be the long-term starter. Like Demko is the guy. Just give him start. Just give him start. Just let him.
He's going to Seattle. I don't think there's a question.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that you boys want to bring up, discuss here before we switch to our next topic? We got the mailbag coming up, but if there's something else that you guys want to go off on or discuss, this is Speak Your Piece, so you have an opportunity to do so here.
So shout out to the Oilers, McDavid, Draisaitl. I picked up the win division, by the way, and they need to find a way to stop the puck and keep it out of their net. Their offense is far from an issue, as you saw in the 8-5 game where McDavid went and Draisaitl went off. Draisaitl had 6 assists, which is almost a record. Go Oilers, I guess. I
have a Flames jersey now, so I can't root for the Oilers, even though I'm not a Flames fan. It's just so I get the Kachuk name and number stitched on the back. No, the Oilers shouldn't really be trying to stop pucks because it's great watching a team play like 5-4 with the poor.
Again, Scotty, I don't see the Oilers winning the division. There's just no defense. There's no goalie.
I think it's Montreal. Montreal's the best team in that division.
Yeah, I mean, I made the pick that the Oilers are going to win it, but that Montreal team's looking really good.
Yeah.
Holy.
By the way, reverse retros. I don't know if you saw in the Toronto Edmonton game the other night. They both wore their reverse retros. Any thoughts on the reverse? I didn't think either of them were that bad. I didn't think the Toronto jersey was that bad. I didn't think the Edmonton jersey was that bad. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Jared, go first.
I think that the Leafs just have a shitty jersey in general. Like they're just like all in all, like if you compare it to the other team that's in Toronto, like the Raptors, like the Raptors don't have a bad jersey. Like,
I think the
Nope.
Raptors jerseys
agree
got
there.
worse this year.
Okay, well,
yes,
like
this
if you
year.
look at like
This
some
year
of
they got
their
worse.
old, you look at the Raptors, like the retro jerseys, like they have comparing them to the Leafs. You're like, what are the Leafs doing? Like,
Yeah.
the Raptors have amazing jerseys, and then it's just you look at the Leafs, and it's the St. Pat's jerseys are amazing. But I think I didn't like the.
I don't know why they didn't go with those for.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind the gray. I thought it was all right. I mean, I didn't like the jersey when it came out. I thought it was actually one of the worst.
Compared to them with cheap Zellers jerseys. That's
and they looked all right. They looked all right. The Leafs reverse retro did. So
the Oilers jerseys were sick. In my opinion, I think they're unreal.
I thought the Oilers jerseys were good too. And then Saturday on our SYP Live for the Hockey Night in Canada, that's when the Flames are going to be wearing their reverse retro for the first time. So I'll have like a matching reverse retro for when they play. So that'll be cool. Should we skip to the mailbag?
Let's go to the mailbag.
All right. We have 5 questions.
Good job. Hey, good job, viewers. Getting better.
Well, one of them's from you, but anyway, it's not the point. Shmuel has 2 questions. Our friend Shmuel, shout out Shmuel. Does Jeremy think he's above the average human because he posts gym stuff on his stories? This before you answer, this sounds like it's coming from someone who doesn't go to the gym regularly.
I don't see Corey as a guy that goes to the gym a whole lot either. He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. So I mean, at least he doesn't work at a gym and say he goes to the gym. That would.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. If you don't know, I work at a gym, and I haven't been going to the gym recently, just as much as I want to, just because I've been busy with school and brand stuff, and I haven't taken the time to do that. So, I think Jeremy thinks of himself, with confidence, highly with confidence.
Yeah,
makes sense. Not arrogant, but
Corey knows I didn't have the greatest body all through grade 10, so I worked on it. I like to show up a little bit. That's fine.
Good mentality. I like that.
And again, like I'm supporting Jeremy. Like people, like Jeremy and I have had this kind of like fake, like kind of buddy, like jokingly, like there's no animosity between Jeremy and I. I don't know if we need to create.
Like we'll still fight at some point. Like
we'll still fight at some point. But it's like when UFC fighters, like when they bro hug in the middle of the ring, like in the third round.
We'll still be finding ways to talk trash before the game.
Yeah, exactly. Second question from Shmuel: who would Jeremy take in a fight to win in a fight between Tony Lopez and James Charles?
I got James Charles all the way, 100%.
Okay,
100%.
Interesting.
I'd blow all my money on that.
I don't really. I couldn't care less about this. So I
think it was a stupid question in general.
I think it is too. I think
you could have came up with better questions.
Sure, obviously. But what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This one comes from SYP creator Keith. Why is Scott the GOAT?
Is this for me or is this for you guys to answer?
I think this is just in general because obviously Scott just got us a bunch of followers, so Scott's pretty cool. And Scott's pretty cool.
I'll take a stab at it first. I think it's the fact that he's wearing a jacket inside, so just in case it rains, that's always prepared. I think that's one of the first things we have to notice there about the GOAT.
Jeremy, I think was it last week? I think before we potted Scott that I mentioned like, why are you wearing a jacket inside? And it's just like it's comfortable. It's like, all right, hey, fair enough, man. Scott's the GOAT, just all around. Oakley guy, Scott. I know you're an Oakley guy, so you're rooting for your boy Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all right.
Superior visors for hockey helmets, by the way. Superior.
Scott, you asked how do we get so many followers so quickly? Well, you basically just told everybody in your Zoom call. So maybe I'll do that one time if a prof is having trouble just saying, go follow, speak your piece.
Yeah, go plug the pod.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this in lecture, go plug the pod. Go get us some followers.
Tell your friends. It's like the old Arrested Development bit. Tell your friends. Same with you, Jeremy. Same with you, Jeremy. Go tell your friends. Okay. This is from Katrina. Scott, I think you know Katrina, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. She's glad.
She just says, "Who's your favorite team?" So just in general, who's your
Let me go
favorite
through.
team?
I'll go through each sport. So my favorite
Sure.
team overall, the Anaheim Ducks. Those are my boys. I've met Scott Niedermayer, Hall of Fame defenseman, former captain. When I started playing hockey, my favorite number was 15, and at the time, Ryan Getzlaf was the captain. Favorite NBA teams: Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard is my favorite player. Clip 2 is 2014 shot against the Houston Rockets in the playoffs. Best shot I've ever seen in my life. I saw it live too. Favorite football club: Bayern Munich. Alphonso Davies, come on, can't go against him. And Neuer's the GOAT, without a doubt. Football, probably Seattle. Can't go against Dean here. Gotta love the Hawks. I'm kind of a homer that way, but the Hawks are good. And then what else is there? We can go
Baseball. Who's your favorite baseball team?
Toronto Blue Jays.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Jeremy, Jeremy, quickly go through your favorite teams in the 4 major sports here if you can.
Well, we'll start with soccer because personally I couldn't care less about soccer, so I don't really have a favorite team. So football, I'm definitely a Cowboys fan. I got Canucks as well, and you got to go with the Blue Jays and the Raptors. So,
all
right.
Yeah.
I'm all over the map here. So my football team, basically the Seattle Seahawks. I'm from there, so a lot of teams I root for are Seattle based. Seahawks are my football team. The Seattle Mariners are my baseball team, so I have been perpetually depressed by them ever since I've been born. Basketball team right now is the Lakers, but it's really just whenever the Sonics come back, which might be never, but yeah, pretty much. I've even as a kid, the Lakers were kind of like my second or third favorite team, just because Showtime and it's entertaining, and it's the Lakers, right? They got beautiful colors. I love LA. That's why I root for the Lakers. But once the Sonics come back, then I'm rooting for the Sonics. My hockey team is the Detroit Red Wings. They're my NHL team, which is going great so far, in case you're wondering. They haven't looked like trash at all this season. And then shout out to the Everett Silvertips, the junior hockey team that I root for. So that's the mailbag. We got 5 questions. Thank you to everybody for asking questions. I guess we'll head out here. Before we go, Jeremy, Scott, any final thoughts? Any final takeaways?
Gotta hit
you want to make bets on the Super Bowl? Where do we put some wagers on it?
What are we betting?
I don't know. Something we can do in post, because I think money is just it's not as fun.
No, there's more. Well, you and I have been talking about doing a Flames and Canucks kind of thing. Oh no, maybe someone else.
Do you maybe what we need to do is the official SYP squares, where we just get a pizza box and then people can invest $10 in squares, and then it could be online squares. I mean, we can also do bets too. We'll find something. We'll find something to do for gambling. I thought Jeremy, you were gonna go with you're gonna pull out a MyBookie ad that you were gonna do on the pod here for us, and
nope.
Fuck, I didn't get that ad read. Fuck. Yeah. We'll do some betting. We'll find a way to waste our money between one another. Speaking of which, last week, when was the McGregor-Poirier fight? Last weekend? No, not this past week, but the weekend before.
Yeah.
I basically, with my father and I, we just bet loonies and toonies on the pay-per-view card, and I think I took $12 off him, just because I won every fucking I bet on Poirier, I bet on Chandler, and so I'm a pretty smart gambler, not gonna lie.
Well, we know that.
Yeah. Anything else before we head out, guys? Before we do the outros here. All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy, for coming on. Good luck in New Brunswick. Don't get COVID. Don't get too cold. Good luck. And so pretty much, if you're new to the pod, be sure to you can subscribe to us on Spotify. We got a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go follow us on Instagram. Jeremy, do you have anything you want to plug?
I got nothing.
All right, great.
Hope the Canucks turn around. Hope the Cowboys have a good year, and that's all.
All right. Awesome. Scott, anything you want to plug?
Go Ducks, and I hope the Canucks still make the playoffs.
All right, there we go. So that's the podcast. Again, go check us out on Spotify. Go check us out on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the brand on social. Thank you, Jeremy, for coming on. Thank you, Scott, for taking time out of your day to do this. And we'll do this again soon. We'll be back, next week. We'll be back next week. So peace out.